Alrighty, welcome back to the stream, and welcome back once again to another little bit of game dev work that we're doing here. So, the music, as always, today is being provided by StreamBeats. This is the EDM playlist, which is... It doesn't sound like it, right? Actually, is this... Wait, no, which playlist is this? Because this definitely is an EDM playlist. It's 5 is blankets. Okay, this is the ambient playlist. I don't know. I thought I set the EDM playlist, but I guess we're doing ambient, which works. This is nice. I like this. All right. Back into it then, shall we? So, main thing I'm going to be doing today is I want to do the scoring stuff. Because right now, if we look at our game, start game. Currently, the last score is not being recorded, and also whoever had the last point is not being recorded. So it's a little... the game's not functional anymore, basically. So what I've got to do is I've got to get the scoring all set, I've got to get all the stuff all set, which tracks the scoring stuff, and then we can do a little bit of other messing around to get it fixed. For example, on my to-do list here, I have this thing here where I have to set it up so that there's no minimum score. Or rather, there's no score subtraction. So I've got to figure out what the best way to go about doing that is. Best way, honestly, might be to just do something like, I don't know, have the... on load for the game, set the minimum score to be equal to some value that I determine, which is either going to be the global score or another value, and then have a minimum score for each player, which basically updates itself. So if the minimum score is equal to the global score, then it'll just set it to that, but if it's not equal to the global score, if there's no score subtraction, the minimum score for that player will constantly refresh and set it to whatever the current score is. Alternatively, I could just, like, have that section of the code get excised if I have a setting that says minimum score off, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now, I still need to get score to work, period. Right. So, first off, we want to get open object, the game object, and we want to pull open all the objects for the game as well. So we want to get paddle, scorer, and ball and wall. We're going to be doing basically, the score is the main thing I want to get fixed, but I'm also going to be looking at this stuff as well. The wall actually has no properties associated with it. It effectively just exists as a solid object. So there's nothing I need to do there. The collision stuff is all in the ball object. The score object has this stuff here, nothing in create. Yeah, there it is. So it says like VL score. Yeah, so this is where all that stuff is. Then this stuff I want to move into the... This is the kind of thing that I want to move into the master object instead. So instead of having a last score object or last score global variable, which works fine when it's a single room that I'm working with, I can have it transferred over to the master object, which controls and tracks whoever the last scorer was and how scoring works and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. How did I set up this thing? When it collides with the wall... Yeah, basically what I did here was, the thing will... When it collides with the wall, it'll effectively stop itself from, being able to do anything. Because it'll hit the wall and then it'll bounce back a little bit. Or rather, it inverts the direction for a second and then it kind of bounces back and forth if you hold the button. So it basically can't clip into the wall. Okay. Object ball, step, create. Right, the step, this is not useful anymore because all this stuff is included in the object itself. Assign variable paddle speed. Paddle speed is not valuable here as well because paddle speed is included in the controls. Okay, no, I actually did need that. Okay, it turns out that was not the thing to do. Alright, that's why you disable your things instead of deleting them, kids. I thought I had that set properly, but it turns out I did not. Alright, so anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself again. What I need to do first is I need to get this and the score. Alright, so how are we doing this? On create, this does nothing, so I don't need to worry about that. When it collides with the ball object, I need to get other.last hit. Okay, so I need to go to ball. Which gets, on collision with the paddle, gets a variable called last hit, which is other.player number. And the paddle itself, variable definitions, has a value called player number. And that's why it's not working, because each paddle that's being created by the master object currently does not have a player number included. So, I guess the simplest way to do this would be on create a variable, call it player underscore number. I'm just going to delete that. Set it to 0. So we just have the player number created. Alright, so when we go here, create game objects, yes. Create instance, set instance, okay, paddle p0 1, good. So now I want to set the variable, assign variable to ins paddle p0 1 dot player num value 1. Yeah, there we go. So that actually might fix everything now. Let's see if that fixes it. I still want to rewrite this code. Yep, last score, player 2. Last score, player 1. Let's go back to the main menu here. Settings, max score 5. Let's just set it to 1, so I can test this easier. Last round winner, player 2. Good stuff. Okay, so now we can go back here. Max score 5. 2. Yeah, there it goes. Come on, other direction. Oh, that was the wrong one. Damn it. Okay, and that should drop to 1 and 0. Perfect. Okay. So that fixes that section, which is great. That took care of everything. But I think I can still simplify this whole thing, take a lot of the burden off these random objects and put it into the master object, which will make things run easier, ideally. So those are the controls. Alright, that's everything nice and like compressed up, so I don't need to worry about stuff as much. It's a little cleaner to look at. Not much, but a little. Okay, so let's look at the paddle here. Paddle has a player number value, which has been added to it, and a paddle speed value, which has been added to it. Okay, so on step, there's no step, right? Yeah, no, I cleared that out because that was basically nothing to begin with. On collision with an object wall, this is an intrinsic thing. That's perfect. I want it there. On collision with a ball, set point direction, other Y. So this should be setting... Set point direction for self. Yeah, set direction variable 180. This actually should be moving me the other direction, but it might not... Okay, wait, I think I have an idea. So, what's going on here? What's going on here is, I believe, the... Yeah, what I think is going on here is the normal speed of the paddle is 7. But... when the paddle moves 7 away, the ball moves 10 away, which is why it eventually starts bouncing into the wall. Because the paddle isn't actually moving far enough away to get the ball, like, space to jump around. So how would I do this? I guess what I would do is, on collision with the ball, I would set paddle speed... Let's try this. Assign variable, let's set paddle speed to 10, or 11 actually. And then on step, paddle speed is 7. So what that'll do, I think... is it'll give it a little bit of a speed boost on collision with the ball. No, didn't do it. Did not fix it. Did not fix it. Okay. Well, let's just get rid of that then. So that's not going to work. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out. All right, but let's continue on with this thing to sort of fix things up. So there's nothing I can really do here. There's not a whole lot I can do here. I can, like... changing the intrinsic, like, collision events is not a whole lot to mess around with. The create event just gives me the variables, which I already dealt with, and step event is nothing there, so I can't really do a whole lot else with paddle at the moment. Alright, ball. Where's ball? Okay. So looking at ball, we have a create event, which gives me basically all the variables that I set up when I'm dealing with the game at the first time. Press R, event. If global gpause is equal to false, destroy the instance and create a new ball. Don't need to do this anymore, actually. This one can go away. This one can go on the master. So let's add an event here. Key pressed. Keypad, or digits, letters, R. There we go. Key press R. If... So if, let's see, I want user event 0. Just do this. Destroy instance. I don't want to destroy sequence, destroy particle. I want to specifically apply to ball objects. Destroy object ball, and then create a new object ball at that location. And I don't want this. I don't want global variables. I want... God, where would I set the pause system for? So create... If G paused is false. It's not global, it's just regular local variable G paused. It's right there. G paused. There's no global variable involved anymore, I'm pretty sure. I wish I could see all the global variables still active, because I don't need any of them. I mean, it's, you know what? It's probably like in here in one of the depreciated ones. That's where it still is. Okay, so global, if gpaused is false, destroy the instance of balls, and then spawn a new ball at the normal location. So I can just get rid of this one here, since this is now in the master object, which controls the spawning of items. Press R, nothing happens. Press R, nothing happens. Good. Okay, now... When created, assign variable y initial random, random range blah blah blah, x initial random, I random range -1 to 1. Set instance variable, vertical speed is 10 times y init rand. If variable global last score is equal to 0, then you do all this stuff. Wait. Oh, it's not equal to 0. That's why. And while loop rand, if it's equal to 0, on the x init, get another 1. And then set a horizontal instance variable speed of that. Good. Alright, that's on the create event. Now again, this is calling a global variable for last score, which is not what I want to deal with in the end. The fewer global variables I can have, the better. The global variables should be reserved for things that are going to affect the game on an entire global scale, like settings or other things at that level. Stuff that's only going to exist in this room should not be global. Yeah, like this here, if the global sound effects are off, then... Or if global sound effects are off, then this is fine. Like, that should be a global thing, because that's something I'm going to pull from a different location. So, on collision with a paddle, get last hit, other.player number. Good. Set point direction, other.x, other.y, and set variable direction 180 to flip it around. Do I have that as a relative? I don't think so. Let's try this. What happens if I do this? Yeah, there's a little bit of hitching right there, which is what I want. I do want that little teeny bit of hitching. Okay. I think that was it. It wasn't slipping into the wall. Okay, no, it was still slipping into the wall, in fact. It is making it a little harder to slip into the wall, which is good. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna not do that. Okay. So we'll leave paddle for now. Okay, so this I can pretty much leave because this is something that only happens on collision with the paddle. Don't need to deal with that. Scorer and wall, this basically is the same thing. This inverts vertical speed, gets the sound effect, and plays it. It's that. If last hit is not equal to 0, if variable other ID is equal to that, inst score P1001, then global.score P1, greater than global score min score, then score P1, otherwise a variable other ID is score P02001. Do that and that. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of little bits and pieces I'm gonna have to try and fix up properly here. But I think for right now, let's see here. So this is fine. Create R, that thing is fine. That's the create event. Okay, so create here. A lot of these things I think are probably fine to stay here, apart from this, which I want to change around. But like a lot of this stuff, I'm pretty sure is perfectly fine, given that this is all intrinsic stuff. This is stuff I'd want to package into the object ball itself. It's not like, yeah, actually, there's nothing here that I'd need to have in the master, because this is all stuff I need to have tied to the object itself. It's not something I'd put in afterwards in order to tie it to specific events, like with the menu objects. The menu object is basically just a blank slate. It's got nothing in here. It exists to look pretty and then also be a target for specific things. The ball has its own properties. So on create, do all this. This is basically just math and such for the variables on how to set up the initial movement. Now, last score is something I want to fix, which probably means I'm going to need to futz around with the score object. So on create, nothing there. Okay, object ball, set global variable, global last score is equal to other last hit. So the ball has the last hit variable right there, which I'm actually going to pull out of this and put it elsewhere. Just assign a variable right here. I actually don't know why this is here. This seems like a kind of a useless little thing to have. So, last hit, 0. Last target hit is an intrinsic variable here, and this one sets the global variable equal to global.lastScore, but I can just go to the master and on step. Would I do on step? No, it'd probably be on create. So on create, let's create a new variable here, call it LScorer. So now LScore is just present. And when it gets created, it has a value of 0. So there isn't going to be any weirdness where if I load into a room, it'll give me an old value for this. It also means that I can set up stuff now where I can clear last score based on whatever criteria. So let's, first off, we're going to create, and we're going to get a variable, and the variable is going to be, we're going to get a GMaster. The value for that is instance, was it closest or nearest? Instance nearest to 0, 0, and object type master game. So that's going to have the GMaster, and I'll be able to just pull that out. So object ball, on collision with that, set GMaster.LScorer to other.lastHit. Destroy the other, which would be the ball in this case. If GMaster.LScorer is equal to 1, and celt.id, do I actually have those set like that right now? I do. So that's not what I want to do, because I need to get these things set up so that I don't have these specific named instances active. So I'm wondering, maybe this is something I'd put into the step event for the master. Assign variable, function call, assign... Okay, assign variable, call user event, variable, go to room, yeah, okay. So I'd probably put it right here, in between all this stuff. Okay, What are 3 and 5? 3 was the pause stuff. 5 was menu button press confirmation. Okay, so let's do other user event 6. And this is going to be ball scorer collision L scorer and score calcs. There, that should be good. Okay, so ball score collision. So this is specifically working with the collision between the ball and the score object, and then it takes care of the last score and score calculations. So I'll be able to pull that information out. So what I also probably should do in that case is create the score objects themselves. Because right now the score objects I'm just sort of having sit there. But if I can create the score objects, that might be a good idea. Okay, so let's create 2 more instances here. So create... The other problem is that, like, now it actually becomes a little trickier to actually set up these things. So I might have to turn the score object back on so it's visible. Yeah, that'll work for now. I wonder if that's what hitboxes are. Like, if you play a fighting game and it shows you the hitboxes, is it just, like, setting the sprite for the box itself to be visible? Like, is that all that is? Can you do that? Hold on a second. Can I do that? Let's see. GameMaker Studio 2, set sprite to hidden or visible. Oh, there's actually a visible... Wait. Okay, it looks like that might actually be a intrinsic variable. So let's see something here. So if I go to, yeah, visible is an intrinsic built-in variable right there. Okay, good to know. Alright, so we're going to create... We're going to create 2 instances here. Where is it? Call user event, that's not it. But this... Okay, we're going to create 2 instances. Object scorer. No. No, 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 no. Object scorer. Layer. These go in game, I think. Is that where I put them? Yeah, these go in game. Okay. Now game. I named them inst score P1001 and score P2001. So we'll just name this score 1 and score 2. There we go. Now, set instance scale. Just setting it to... How do you set this to specific instances anyway? Alright, set instance scale. We're going to set this to the score object, and horizontal is going to be 0.5. Vertical is going to be, I don't know, 5. We'll figure it out. And... it's gonna break as soon as I hit the ball collision, but I just need to know if it's there. Actually, you know what? Just to be on the safe side, I can, like, get rid of the ball real quick. I can just disable this for the time being. Cannot set 2 valid. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I gotta get rid of these two. There we go. Okay, it needs to be way more than that. It needs to be like 20, maybe? 20 vertically? And of course I gotta move these things, so I'll gotta deal with that in a second. Okay, 20 is pretty good. So maybe 15? Maybe 16. 17. 17. Try that. I just need to be down to the bottom. Yeah, that looks perfect. Excellent. So that's set up now. Right. Now the location. That's going to be the tricky part. Is that also the right width? I don't want it to be too thin, if possible. Yeah, that's fine, I think. That's like a little bit more than one ball, I want to say. So that should be fine. Gives you enough time to react to the thing being behind you, but also not so much that it's a problem. Alright, now I gotta set these things position-wise. X here. Score 1, score 2. Let's put this... I don't know where I'd put this. It's not going to be room width. Minus 20, 50? I don't know, let's see. That's not bad, actually. Maybe a little bit over. Minus... How big is this sprite normally? If I set to room width, where is it going to be? It's off the side, as expected. So room width minus 25. Minus... not 14, that's completely the wrong number. 25, there we go. That looks decent. That looks decent, honestly. It's effectively equal. It doesn't really matter, because this thing is basically only there just to die. I do wish I knew how big these sprites were. 64 by 64. That answers that question. So it'd be 32 back. Minus 32. There we go. That looks good. I can see the black line on the edge there, so it's perfect. Alright, now go back to the score and turn that off. Right. So, each of those things now has their instant stuff here, which I can set. Score and L score and ball collision calculations go there. So, on create, it gets the GMaster, which is the Game Master object's instance variable, and will set the L score variable to that. Now I can also set a GMaster dot scored. I can also set a variable here and just set it to true. And I don't want either of these to be global, so this actually should just be a regular variable. So what this is effectively going to do is this is just going to be a trigger. The L score thing is going to transfer the data, and this is going to be the check that runs. So we're going to go here and if expression, no, if variable. So if, let's set a new variable here on create, and we're going to call this scored. False. So, if scored is true, destroy the other instance. Actually, you know what I should probably do? I should probably actually move this thing around slightly. Because if I do this, there's a chance that basically, I don't want a chance of the game triggering multiple scores off the same ball impact. So I'm going to have the last score hit, the ball's going to get deleted, then it'll send the signal that the score has been... It's time for the score to be calculated out. So if scored is equal to true, then we're going to get... we're going to set scored to false. Alright, now, if I need to get the ID, so I need to also send the ID of the thing. Do I? Okay, so here's my thought, right? Of course, this is all easier if I just set, like, each individual score zone to be this point. This zone gives a point to this player, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm doing it so I can theoretically support any number of players. Theoretically. Very theoretically. So, okay, here's my thought, right? Let me get let's open Paint up. Okay, there's Paint. Perfect. So, here's my thought. Right now, we have... Okay, we have the score zone will transfer to the master, and it transfers the scorer. It'll transfer, this is a C, don't question it. It'll transfer its own ID. Yeah, and it'll transfer the score signal, which is not really important since it is just there to specifically trigger a if check. Now, what about if okay, so it transfers the score and the ID. In my current system, what that'll do is that'll calculate out, okay, if you have the score set up like this, that means that if the score is the same person, if the score ID of the score object is equal to the last person who hit it, that means it'll transfer over a... Okay. Okay, actually, you know what? There's an easier way to do this. I just have a temp value. So what'll happen is when the ball contacts this thing, it'll transfer... The ball will have two IDs in it. It'll have last hit, and it'll have second last hit. The last hit is literally just the last hit, whereas the second to last hit will be sort of a rolling replacement. The previous last hit will get turned into the second last hit, and the last hit will get turned into... will be recorded as last hit. And when it impacts the scorer, when the ball impacts the score will read... will send over both the last hit and the second to last hit. At which point the master will be able to determine, okay, are we doing score subtraction here? But of course, this has to be a... These have to be different, because if it's a multiple impact thing, like against a wall, you could technically cause that to glitch out and cause both hits to be taken by the last scorer. So I would have to set up a check in that collision that would say, okay, if the last hit is the same as... If the second to last hit is the same as the last hit, don't record it. Or rather, if the current last hit is the same as the new last hit coming in, then don't record it. Basically. Okay, so where would that be? That would be sitting in the ball collision, right? Yeah, so let's go to ball. Where's ball? There's ball. There's ball. Okay, so on collision with a paddle, get last hit, which is other.player number. There it is. Okay, so we're going to assign two variables then. Last hit and last hit 2. Last hit 1 and last hit 2. Just like that. And this is going to have to be changed because there's no global.lscore anymore. Let's just do this. So I'll be able to set a L score value here. No, because that's on creation. So actually, this would probably have to be a gmaster and then get instance nearest 00 obj master game. There we go. So if gmaster.lscore is equal to 0, then it's not equal to 0, then gmaster.lscore and gmaster.lscore like that. Okay. Okay, so last hit 1, last hit 2. I see. Okay, so on collision with a paddle, if Okay, so we're gonna go here. If other dot player number is not equal to last hit 1, last hit 1 becomes that, last hit 2 becomes equal to last hit 1. There we go. So, last hit, if the other player number... Okay, so on collision with the paddle, if the player number of the other... If the player number of the paddle is not equal to the current last hit 1, last hit 2 becomes equal to the current last hit 1, last hit 1 becomes other player number. Okay. Now, object score, this is things. This is going to get moved to the score calculations. On hit. Okay, so on hit here, we're going to pull out sign variable, GMaster, last hit 1. Last hit 2. Okay. GMaster last hit 1. GMaster last hit 2. And we're going to go to the GameMaster object here and create... There we go. So now those two objects are there. So these two variables will just be here, and they'll be set when the thing happens. So if variable scored is true, set the score variable to false. And then we start doing math. Okay, so yep. And then yeah, this is where math starts to come in. I gotta do this stuff here. Min score, max score might be something actually, no. Min score, max score should still be there. Those should be global. Okay, so. If score is equal to true, score gets set to false. And I'm going to just put this in... Let's put it here. Call user event 6. There we go. Slap it right in there. Oh yeah, still got this thing open. Whoops. Forgot about that. Not that there's anything being missed. Okay. Score set to false. Alright, so now we have the last hit 1 and last hit 2. Which should be fine. Okay, so if... Oh, I've got to figure out how to do this first. Then I can do the split for, I can do the split for what I do when I don't have score subtraction going on. And that'll be a global variable too. So, you know what? Let me just, let me make an if variable here and disable this. And just put a little bit of code right here to explain why I have that there. If subtraction is turned on. There we go. So when the variable is equal to that, So let's go global dot sub our score subtract is equal to false. It's turned off. There we go. Yeah, so we'll just do this, and then that'll be an else. Right there. Just disable that. Because I can't really do anything with that at the moment, because I don't even have that value in there, and I need to make sure I didn't break everything first. I did almost certainly break everything currently, but it's part of the fixing process. Okay, so scored is true, set score false. Okay. Then what? If... Oh, I gotta get the ID sent over too, right. That actually should be fine. I want to also... Yeah, let's... So, on create, on collision with a scorer object. That's not the one. Score, right. On collision with the ball object. So I guess it would be self.id, and then let's create a new sign variable. Other last hit. And this is... What am I going to call this? The other nice thing is I can actually increase this to 3 if I really wanted. Just in the off chance I have 2 people on the same side bouncing it between themselves, I could do that. That's highly unlikely, but it could happen. That would require a lot of skill to do. So let's go to self.id. Okay, so let's call this gmaster dot score ID. Let's call that. Let's call that score ID. Okay, so the score ID will be sent over, and then we can do stuff. So, sign variable scored to false if score ID is equal to a value of inst score P1001. Then and if last hit 1 is equal to 1, then God, how do I do this? What are the score events currently set to? Global.winner, global L score, global score P2, global score P1. Okay, so global score P1. Let's just do this for now. I can set this to a local variable here. Okay. A lot of things are going to break, I can tell. Okay, so if score ID is set to that, and last hit was equal to 1, then... Yeah, so score hit ID is equal to score 1, blah, blah. Then last hit is equal to 1. Last hit is equal to 1, then set the score equal to... Score P1 minus 1. Else set okay, so when a scored value comes in, change scored to false. If the scorer ID if the score is equal to 1 and ID is equal to P1, P is not equal to P1, set it to +1. I actually should do it that way, I couldn't think of it. Okay, scorer ID is equal to P1 and last hit is not equal to 1. +1. Otherwise, -1. There we go. Oh yeah, right. If the global score P1 is greater than the min score. Can't forget about that part. There. So, if it's equal to that, if it's not equal to 1, then increase it. If it is otherwise, do that. Okay. Then score P2. This is the ball thing. Right. Alright, and then this is actually like the reset when it does a full somebody wins. Okay, score false. I probably should flip this around. That actually would make more sense. So, if the last hit is 1 and the score is not equal to the player 1 score side, then player 1 goes a point. Otherwise, player 1, as long as player 1 is greater than the min score, they lose a point. I feel like this is an array waiting to happen. Yeah, it probably would be a decent... This would probably be a decent while loop. Instead of, like, having multiple of these, I just go, last hit 1 is equal to I, or something like that. So what I would do is like, say while. Okay, so while last hit, so it would be I is not is not equal to last hit 1. Then I equals I is I plus 1. And then do an if I is greater than 2, set I to 0. Yeah, so I do this. So that would lock it in, find I, and then you would do, if last hit I, then score ID is equal to this, and then just do a whole bunch of stuff based on that value. But that's something I probably want to do once I've got it working again, because I need to make sure this is not broken entirely. That's the important bit here. So yeah, I do this until I get I, because I think it stops the entire code thing right here. So I basically do that until I hit I, and then I would be, the score stuff would be tied to it. And I could basically just do this entire thing once, based on whichever one is tied to what thing. That would probably be part of the create event, too. So what would that even look like? If I go to create and do variables here, disable this for the time being, and it would be like, it would probably be like, L score 1, or score P1, yeah, because eventually these are not going to be global values. These are going to be local values, so I'll be able to actually adjust them with an array instead of dealing with this. So last hit 1 is equal to 1, and score ID is equal to, so this would be score ID I. Yeah, so this would be something like, score ID 1 is equal to this. Score ID 2 is equal to this. Just like that. Okay, and last hit. And then score. One is equal to. Oh, that's. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. That's incredibly useful. Hey, that's handy. I actually meant to. I think I meant to actually know why I was doing Control Tab. I think I was trying to switch between these tabs. So score 1 would be score P1. That'd be score P instead. Score P2, just like that. So yeah, score ID 1 would be that, score ID 2 would be that, score P1 would be that, score P2 would be that. Actually, no, because score ID is a variable that's being placed in there, effectively. So this would have to be something like, score underscore ID? Or just score... Nah, that's probably fine. Score ID 1 would be this, score ID 2 would be that. And then if score ID is equal to score ID bracket I, then score P bracket I is equal to score P bracket I plus 1. Score global.min score. That, I think this would actually do it. I think this would actually completely fix it. Just get rid of this, because this is going to be... This literally is this entire section right here. That's what this is. Now, I just want to check something. How does a while loop work? Okay, good. I think that'll do it. I think that will actually work properly. Okay. I can't do this yet. I can't do this one yet. I have to get the score stuff functional before I mess around with compressing it down into a while loop. Okay. So let's just do this first. Okay, so last hit, what is it? If last is equal to 1, then we do this. If last hit 1 is equal to 2, then we get these things thrown in. If score ID is not equal to 2, then score player 2 is that. Else, score player 2 is greater than Milton scores. Score 2 minus 1. Okay. So this should theoretically do it. Score variable gets set to false. Last hit 1. If score ID is not equal to that, blah 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 blah. Okay, so now looking at the score object. All right, now we need to set in, let's see, gmaster else score true self ID. Yep. Yes. So if take those, slap it right in here. That's the wrong one. That is the wrong event to put that in. Okay, so now just check afterwards if the score blah 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 blah. Good stuff. So now I can basically take everything here that is up to assign there, and I should be able to disable that and it'll work, I think. Now, okay, so let me just check. Is there anything else? No, this is nothing. All right, now going back to the ball. The ball. On collision with the paddle, we get last hit 2. If other player number is not equal to last hit 1, that's fine, actually. This is perfectly fine. I don't want it to trigger multiple times on the same contact, so this is good. Okay. Object score. When it hits object score, why did I have all these things in here? This is fine. The top part's fine, because that's just audio. Variable last hit is equal to 0. Other ID and score from 1. Why did I have this? Why do I have this stuff in here? This should all be included in the other. Disable that for now. Okay. Let's see what breaks. I forgot to spawn the ball. That's right, I disabled that for safety purposes before. On create, user event 0. Alright, let's see what breaks. Last score. Player 1 is not showing up. Player 2. Okay, the score minus is not working currently. That's probably fine. Oh, wait. I wonder if it's because I'm not clearing those values. Hold on, let me see something here. Play 2. No, they are getting cleared. They are getting cleared, so that's not the problem. I probably should clear those. Anyway, it seems like it's working, although I'm not 100% sure why the UI is not showing last hit properly. Last score is Wait, was it last score that wasn't working? Oh, it's because last score is a global variable and I'm not interacting with that anymore. That's why. Yeah, okay. That works. So, let's see. Last score instead will just be... last... hit... 1? I guess? Actually, it would probably just be... it'd probably be a score thing. Because last hit 1 is going to be... That is correct, actually. That is correct. Something's going wrong here because it's not subtracting the score anymore. Yeah, something's gone wrong, but it's fine. We can deal with this. Okay. This is fine. All right, now that actually means we can get in here and start optimizing a little bit. So, going back to my create here, I've got the score ID array and the score P array. So, I'm going to take all this, and I'm actually going to disable that for the time being. Yes, all of this is going to get disabled. You can enable things later. Okay, so... Oh, it's not being contained because... the ball, when it spawns with values of 0 in those variables, which overwrites the currently embedded value in the master object. So it's working as intended. Yes. I'll just have to figure out why it's not subtracting properly next time. Which I think is actually because of something I messed up in here, but that's fine. Okay, so going to... where's the ball? Ball. This is collision with the ball. This is the ball collision with the scorer. I still don't actually know why I had all these things in here. It seems vestigial. This may be vestigial. Oh, it's not vestigial. That's where the subtraction was coming from. But that's fine, because I can do the subtraction elsewhere. So, I do have an else scorer variable, which I can just put in the GUI. No, I don't want global. I just want regular else score. Okay, so let's run this while loop. So, while I is not equal to last hit 1, I gets I plus 1 variable if it's 2. So it'll be 0, 1, and then if it hits 2, it goes back to 0. So this should actually be 0 and 1, not 1 and 2. It's a slight error on my part. 0, 1, 0, 1. Good. Okay. And then... yeah, okay. So, if... okay, so when it's finally equal to... when last hit 1 is equal to I, let's say I is 1. If... that'll go here now, because it basically locks up here until I get this point. If, scorer ID I is equal to scorer ID, There we go. So if score ID I is equal to scorer ID, or is not equal to scorer ID, then assign variable score PI is equal to +1 relative. Did I set to global? No, I gotta set that to not global. Draw GUI. All right. Score P on I is +1. And then else if score P I is greater than global.min score, is -1 relative. Now, the reason I'm doing this here is because, well, I could just shut this down to get rid of the score subtraction issue. The problem is that it would still be possible to negate someone's score by tapping the ball before it goes into your goal. Which is why I want to have it run on a separate system. So this one will be you know, this entire while loop could probably be in front of this section, and this one just does the math afterwards. So let's put this here. There you go, while loop. So that gets the I set as soon as scored was whatever. I don't actually use the last score variable for anything, do I? I suppose I can have last score just be at the end of the math. Okay, how do I do this? let's just move this into here for now. Right there. All right, now I'm just going to, for good measure, I'm just going to do this right here and set a global variable. Global dot score. Subtract. Set that to true. Just that way, this thing will work properly, so I don't have to worry about this section. So we'll just skip that. All right, A is set, so scored comes in as true. Of sign variable, scored false. The loop determines what the last hit value was. Wait a second. Wait a second. This should be 3. And this should be 1. Because the player numbers don't start at 0. So I've got to change my array slightly. So it is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. There. Because I is just going to start at 0 anyway, so that's not like a huge issue. But just oh, right, I gotta set I too, don't I? I is 1. Let me just move these down. There. I is set to 1, and then we have score ID set, score P's set. Good. All right. So, if the global score subtract value is set to false, then you do this. Otherwise, because it's set to true, we do this, which is the default. Score ID I is equal to yes. If it's not equal to score ID, which is the incoming variable, which is score ID right there, which is the incoming variable. So score ID I, which is, let's say it's player 1 and the score ID, let's say this I is for player 1 and score ID is for player 2, which is the score on the right side. Yes. Then score for player 1 will increase. The problem is I'm trying to define these things as scores because that's what I call them. I call them the object score, but it's a little confusing. So, player 1. So if the score ID for player 1, which is that, is not equal to the score ID, which would be this one, then score player 1 increases. Otherwise, as long as it's greater than the min score, it decreases. So if that's good, because last hit is all dealt with up here. Should that be there? Maybe. It's something I'll deal with eventually. So last hit 1, score ID, yep, okay. Yep. Okay, yes, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So then we get to this point. Okay, so now we get to this point, which is the global, which is the score player 1 is equal to the max score, then set the winners to whatever. Okay, so now we get down here. So if score PI is equal to global dot max score, set global dot winner. That's fine. I can set global dot winner to I, whatever that value is, and set the local variables of score P1 0 and score P2 0. And then create an instance here, which I can just copy over. Which I have to do. I have to do this regardless, because like there's no instance in which I don't create the new ball once this thing is determined to be set. Yeah, so that while loop is there. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I should probably paste it right here instead. So that way I just always create a ball at this point. No matter what, the ball has to be created at this point. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened here, if score subtract is on or off. It doesn't matter. Like, I really just don't care about this thing, technically speaking. Just as soon as this is done, score is false, create a new ball. Okay, so let's see. Everything else is turned off. Let's make sure this works. Failed. Error in action number 1 of create event for Object Master game. Variable Object Master inst score P1 not set before reading it. Variable Object Master game int score P1001 not set. It's in the create event. Oh, of course. Right. Let's go there. Okay. Not set before reading it again. That should be getting set before reading it, though. Because this is here, and then this is here, so that should be going in order, right? Int score P1001. That's correct. What about if I put it in here? Nope, wrong one. There. See if I do that instead. Does that work? It might. No. And user defines 0 now. That's not set. Wait. Score P1 not set before reading it. Object Master game score P1 not set for reading it. God, that's right, because I don't have score P1 set. Whoops. There we go. That should do it. There we go. Ah, yes. It's gonna hang if there is no last scorer. Okay, that's bad. Ooh, boy, that's bad. Oh, that's really bad. There we go. Okay. Let's set it to 0 in that case. Yeah, let's set it to 0. That should do it. So if I just set I to default to 0, and then I also have the user score thing. Assign variable to 0. Just so it does loop around properly. That should fix it. I hope. Having it start at 1 is still fine. Okay, so player 1, score. Player 2, score. Okay, good. So now we have to go to GUI because I believe these are running off of numbers that are not changing. Score P2, score P1. Why aren't these adjusting? Oh, duh, of course, because I'm not actually changing the values I need. God, stupid. Of course, that's why. There. And I'm also not actually setting L score anyplace, am I? So I guess it would be I. Would it just be I? So it should be 1. Yep. Score P1. Last score P2. Oh, that's right. Because it starts at... Because I starts at 1, it does that. So actually I should set that to... I should set that to 0. Player 2. Player 0. Player 0. Okay, the subtraction still isn't working, which is fine, because I think I loaded that into the ball, and that's what happened. Huh. Oh, God. It's because player 0 counts as a player now. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. That adds a whole other series of issues. Oh. Okay, how do I do that? How do I change it so player 0 is a special case? I know how. I go here. And also I can get rid of All this shit. All this shit can go away. Okay, I'm just gonna see. I think if I do this, disable. I think if I do this, I can delete all those D&D actions. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Okay, so if let's do this. If I is not equal to 0, there we go. So now score I. If I scores, it does nothing. I has an infinitely growing score, and it does not matter. Okay. Player 2 now has a score. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now just make sure it's working. Player 2 is going to score 5 times. And there we go. Last round winner, player 2. Hey, player 1 won. Nice. Now let's rally a second here. This should be player 2's point. Excellent. Okay, so now this is going to be player 2's point again. Excellent. Working? Fine. Right. Now... maybe that's why? I don't know why it's not working. Okay, so let's get player 2 score. No, it's still not subtracting for some reason. I wonder why. Like, that should be doing it, to my knowledge. Okay, so it's equal to score. Oh, it's because player 2 hasn't self-scored. That's why. That actually works out better, in my opinion. Did I actually manage to... wow, that's impressive. Okay, damn it. I need... okay, so let's try that again. Main menu. Okay. Player 1 gets a point. I need player 1 to... damn it. There we go. So they can self-score. Perfect. It's fixed. Yeah! As long as I don't use any... well, no, I can just add another variable later. That's not a problem. Okay, hey. Score fixed. Game's working. How about that? It's nice and compressed, too, all things considered. Like, this is all the code. This is everything that does the scoring. It's way simpler than I had it before. I could even do a while loop here and just go through all the scores to wipe it, but why would I bother? It doesn't matter. Like, it's... I mean, I could do that to just go like, while... just... While count is not equal to I, go to each I, do it, and then count increases by 1, and then at the point when count is equal to I, which is every character, every player, it just wipes them all, but like, that's more than it takes to just do this right now, so there's no point. All right, hey, that's pretty sick. I got it fixed. It only took me 2 hours. All right, let's see. Is there anything else I can do here that'll make stuff work better? Okay, so this is fine. I don't want to put this in this creation event for the ball because it's kind of unnecessary. This is if object score, collision, object paddle, it grabs last hit 1 and 2. Okay, good. And I kind of don't want to futz around with adding in the subtraction turn off mode. I kind of don't want to deal with that right now. Anyway, the ball's done, I think. Let's go through score again, just to make sure everything's good here. So object score on create gets that variable. On thing here, it sends over last hit 1, last hit 2, and ID. True, does all that stuff, and then we can get rid of all these variables which control the score. So all that stuff just goes away. Just delete. Gone. Bada bing, bada boom. Object score is now nice and light. That's the only thing it does. Everything's now loaded up into here, which gives me a lot more, well, it's not really flexibility, but it gives me a lot more stuff I can do with it. Although I do want to kind of check something real quick. So let's go to object score again. I just want to see something here. If I go, let's create a, let's do a step event. And, let's see, if key is pressed, let's say space, that's fine. Then, let's run code. And what do I want to run this to? I want to do probably self.visible. Self.visible is equal to true. So that's if key pressed. So I probably want to do while. What's the syntax for while anyway? Is it curly bracket? Is it just regular bracket? And then self.visible equals false. What do you mean fall is only referenced once? There you go. Problems. Oh, use. Okay, so let's try this. I just want to see something here. If this works. Okay, well, it's not changing it to visible, which is a little annoying. I don't know how that works. Okay, let me see here. Maybe it was a parenting thing? Oh, God, duh. I'm stupid. I'm stupid idiot. I'm a stupid idiot. Also, answer to, wow. I'm just gonna check the manual for this. While expression, curly bracket, statement, statement. Okay. So while this cakes. God, that, yeah. Okay, that's, So while, key... Keyboard check, key pressed. Space? It would probably be VK space, right? So, like that. Curly bracket. Curly bracket. Okay, let's try that. Okay, that appears to have hung up the game. Did it close it? Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay, so... Okay, let's you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Why bother doing all that effort when I can just do this? So just, while keyboard press, execute self.visible equals true. Hey, look at that. It makes it visible. Haha. Perfect. It's not really that visible on the right side for whatever reason, but, you know, whatever. It works. Cool. That's all I wanted to check. Good. Very good. Windows Defender summary. Thanks. You didn't find anything. That's great to hear. Okay. What else can I do? I think that pretty much covers everything. Paddle, scorer, and ball have now been vastly simplified. The paddle object never had much going on in it to begin with. Period. It had this. The scorer object only has this variable, and then it transfers some data over on collision with the ball. And the ball itself has this stuff going on, which is whatever. Master L score. Good, good, good. Okay, object paddle. On collision with the paddle, it gets the other player number. I should probably check to make sure last hit 1 and 2 are being recorded properly. So, you know what? Let me do a GUI thing here real quick. So, let's see. So, let's see. Last hits 1 and 2 are going to be our last hit 1. Okay, so let's put this at, I don't know, 500, and this will be last hit 1, last hit 2, let's call that 700, just to make sure it's getting recorded properly. So, okay, so number 1 hits, number 2 hits, so it should be 2 and 1. Good. 2 hits, 1 will not touch. 2 hits. 1 hits. 2, and then 1 is going to hit. 2 is first. 1 is first. Oh, man, I'm trying to kind of get like a multi-hit right now. And I broke it somehow. I somehow managed to do the exact thing I didn't want to do. Okay, good. That should be 2 1-hits. Assuming I've done this correctly. No, it's not! Yeah! Perfect. Alright, it works. Whoa, no, cancel, cancel. I don't want to exit GameMaker. Delete that. Delete that. Good. So that data is getting transferred over properly. I just wish I could tell, like, how many global variables are. I can do it right here. No, actually, you know what? Let's do it right here. Global dot score P1 and score P2. Where am I even getting these from? I shouldn't have those present anymore. The only thing that would be in is depreciated objects, which shouldn't do anything. It probably is doing it, though. Come to think of it. Yeah, it sure is. Okay, I'm just turn all these off. There. Now. No, score P1 and score P2 are still in there. That's almost certainly because of something else in here, though. Like, it'd probably be a UI game, if I had to guess. Okay, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. Where's that global variable coming from? That's what I want to know. Wouldn't be in varinits, not setting inits. It's not going to be there. They're curious. I wish I knew where that variable was so I could get rid of it, because I don't need it anymore, and it's kind of probably going to cause issues more than anything else. I can't think of a benefit from having that. Similarly, global winner I probably don't need anymore. Like, if I could just, like, search... Yeah, no, if I could search for variables and see where they're coming from, that would be great. Active G menu setting. Where is that even... Why is that even in here? That's a game menu thing. That's a good question. Why is that in there? Oh, they're here! Why did I put them here? Well, problem solved. Now I know. Alright, well, now I know. I can also get rid of the winner variable, I think. So let's just get this, turn it into regular winner. This winner basically only exists there and here. I mean, I know I set those here, but, like, I don't... Yeah, I guess I probably just kept it in there to make things not break. That was my main reasoning. I'm still not sure about this one. Why is G menu setting there? That should be to determine when the game menu is, like, open, but I don't use that variable anymore. Because it's all... So let's test, just make sure everything's working properly. Okay. So first off, settings. Sound effects on and off, la 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 la. If I exit without saving, it doesn't save anything. Good. Credits. Yeah. Start game. Ah, something's broken here. Object master game winner not set before draining it. Aha! Forgot to set something. I knew it. Object master game. Create step. Assign a variable. Winner is value 0. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's go to main menu real quick. I'm just gonna set max score to 1, so I don't have to deal with that. Okay. Ta-da! Player 1 gets a point, and ta-da! Last score, last round winner is not set. Nobody's getting points, though. Okay, so let's make sure it's working. Player 2 gets a point. Player 1 gets a point. Player 1 hitting player 2. Player 2 should get a point. Yep, good. Player 2 gets a point. Okay, so last round winner is not being recorded properly right now. So, okay, winner variable is there. Draw GUI. Winner variable is there. And it's being set to 0, which means that probably something in 6. Oh, God, that's why, because I'm saying a global variable. Duh. Of course. Can't forget that. There we go. Winner is set. So now this should work properly. First off, setting back to that 1. Good shit. Player 2 will score. Yay, look at that. Now it's a fierce rally. Who will get the first point? Now, of course, one thing to be mindful of here is this is, of course, very open to change. Everything is very open to change. I mostly say that because this is a very easy game of Pong, but it's much easier to test when it's easy. Because then I don't have to worry about, like, hitting this little teeny thing with a teeny sprite. Instead, I can have these big block sprites that allow me to hit wherever I want, basically. And, of course, I can do other stuff to make it fancier. But, excellent. I think that takes care of pretty much everything I needed to do there. The score system has now been completely retooled and revamped, so it's much better. I can get rid of these variables. There we go. Which just leaves this variable, which I also don't need anymore. Which just leaves a global paused variable and a paused surface variable, which do I even need these anymore? Do I even need either of these? Like, when I'm working with the pause stuff, do I use the pause surface and the paused variables? I don't know if I do. Yeah, no, this isn't a global paused. I'm not using a global pause variable here. I'm using just a regular pause variable. Gpause and pause surface right there. Yeah, I don't need these anymore. How about that? Completely depreciated. Alright, so let's just say empty currently. Everything was moved to local bars. There we go. So, yeah, that fixes everything, pretty much. I got rid of a bunch of global variables I didn't need anymore, which is nice. There's a little bit of flickering right there when I turn it back on, which is probably due to the surface. Oh, yep, there it is again. There it is again. I forgot about that bug. Right, forgot about that one. In-game, when spamming escape, also spamming click/enter on resume game option, game will crash sometimes, possibly due to inputs between deletion of menu items and code that checks the game is paused. Odd master game step event. Fix may limit frame rate or input speed somehow. I really don't know how to fix that one. Straight up. It's happening. It's a frame perfect bug, effectively. The only way I could think of to get rid of it, because what happens is, like, it's basically happening in between... It's basically happening just out of perfect frame in between two inputs. So the only thing I could do is, like, stop the ability to run inputs before deleting the event, which happens in some games where, like, when you pause a game, it, like, stops the game and then it brings the menu items like a second later. And then similarly, when you, like, when you click resume, it'll move the menu items off screen and then resume the game as, like, a weird time duration thing, which it's always been really annoying when that happens, because in games, like, unless it's... I guess this is actually why, like, pause menu animations kind of came around, isn't it? Because when you're, like, just as an example, Fallout, right? Fallout 3, I played a bunch of it back in the day. People have played Fallouts. Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. When you pause, it doesn't pause the game immediately. It pauses the background stuff. Or it doesn't bring up the menu immediately. It pauses the background stuff, and then it brings up the Pip-Boy, like, in front of you. And then there's, like, a little bit of lag time between, like, that. I always assumed it was, like, an immersion thing, where it's just like, oh man, look, this is your menu. It's the Pip-Boy. Haha, look at that. But it might also be part of a technical limitation. Where... Because this is a thing in other games, too. Like, you play an older game, it'll, like... The menu will slide in from out of screen. And I always thought, like, oh, that's a stylistic thing. It's kind of annoying. I wish they didn't do that, but it's there. But I'm wondering now if maybe that exists specifically because there's the possibility of something breaking if it doesn't have, like, a second of running through the code and checking the game's paused where you don't have control over the game. I'm wondering if that's what's going on there, because with that hang time, I actually would not have the issue of being able to hit a frame-perfect crash, effectively. Like, I straight up would not have that ability. So I'm wondering now if that's why that exists. Anyway, that's something to fix at a later date. That's a shippable bug. That is... Unless you're a weirdo who's doing the exact same thing I am and testing the game out by smashing the buttons over and over again, it doesn't matter. Straight up does not matter. It is completely unimportant. It is entirely something that you will possibly never even see. Like, that's the only instance too, because it doesn't happen in save and exit because there's another menu prompt that pops up here. So, like, the problem comes right here, where I'm clicking, but there's no menu object to click. Error step event 1 for object master game. I'll find instance object master game instance. Would this be fixed if I just deleted the... Let me check something here. Would that be fixed if I just go to the... I just go here and then... it's under step event, right? Let's get rid of all these for the time being. So is it 3 or 5? So destroy instance object selector, destroy object menu. So the selector is getting removed first on this instance. In-game settings menu options, game menu options. User event 4. Right. User event 4 creates the in-game settings menu. Set gpause to false. Right, so that's what's going on there. gpause gets set to false. If the selector is resume, gpause gets set to false. And the reason it's tricking up is because over here, in event 3, if gpaused... Oh no, it's not this one. Is it 5? No. gpause equal to true. Then that. Okay, where was the part where if it's false, it deletes everything? Is it up top? This is that. Where is G menu equal to false located? which one of these is it? It's not 6. I know it's not 6, so it's either 3 or 5. Yeah, if gpos equal to false, then do this. Destroys object selector objects. Alright, so I guess one thing I could do is just to be extra double certain it works. Is destroy an instance and apply that to selector objects. So, as long as this thing is set, it'll do that. Let's see if this works. Hopefully this doesn't break anything else. Nope, still broke it, somehow. Huh. I have no idea what's causing that. It only comes around in that specific frame, though. And I think it's actually easier now. Or it's harder now than it was just by adding that. Alright, well. That's something to fix eventually. Okay, scoring system fixed. I need to get a winner screen at some point. Which... that's gonna be surface stuff. I don't know how to... I still have to figure out why I can't get surfaces to work properly. Okay, so this I actually can do as well. So we're gonna go... Yeah, okay, so let's do this, and we're gonna go to settings. Okay, so let's see, what do I want to call it? Sub? Okay, we're gonna move this down to 700 and make this 850. Okay. Setting selector. Okay, good. So I don't have to do anything here because this is just going to be a on-off toggle. I am going to have to go to the selector though and or adjust that a little bit. No. Selected menu item while scrolling. No. Menu variable setup. Settings menu. Setting, sub. There we go. Okay, so I needs to go up to 5. Yeah, it goes up to 3. Wait, really? Did I actually fuck this up? Okay, no, it's the other one. Okay, good, it's 3. So this needs to go to 5 now. And this goes to 5. This goes to 4. There we go. So that should set everything up properly. That's why I have these code blocks at the top, so I know what I'm looking at. Okay, so score sub. Good. Everything is good there. So now we go to the settings master. It's under step event. Okay, so this is basically like a sound effects one. Okay, so if variable enter so if it's inst settings score subtract. Oh yeah, I need to set up a temporary for that one. Okay, so then score min, and I need to also set up on the main menu, I need to set up the setting initialization for this as well. Okay, so let's get the master menu object here. Is it this? Yeah, it is. No, this is not it. That creates the menu objects. This creates that. This is the setting initialization, right. Okay. Alright, so let's go back to master game, because I want to check what that variable was that I called it. Okay, I called it score subtract global. And that's true false. This one's done. And this is score sub. Score subtract. How did I set this up in the game one again? It was in 6. Okay, if score subtract is false, then it's turned off, but I want it true by default. Okay. There we go. So that'll add that to the ini file right at the beginning. So let's copy this over because that needs to be moved into this ini file now. Okay, yeah. Good. Good. Okay. Global dot score subtract temp score sub. Now create. There we go. Okay, that should be good. All right, so and then go down here. That'll invert it. That should work. Aha! I haven't set it properly here. Okay, good. So settings, go back to the GUI. What was I setting these ones as like the... Okay, so where was I positioning these things? 450, 300, 150, 300, 450, 600. So yeah, that's correct. A50 is perfect. All right, so now we go to here. We're going to draw GUI. So min score, max score. Copy, paste. We're going to call this score subtraction. Go. Yeah, right. This is fine, and then there we go. Okay, so this one is going to be if temp score sub is true on that's weird. Why is this here? Oh, right. That's temp max and min. Right. Oops. Don't want to delete those. That's for sure. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, off, setting off, setting off. Okay, so it's not turning off properly, which is doable, but I'm not entirely sure why it wasn't. Oh, you know what probably is? I bet it's probably... So this is the master settings. Oh, God, that's why, because I didn't write to ini file. Of course. Section is settings. Key is that. Value is that. There we go. That should do the trick. Okay. It's currently off. Turn it off. There we go. Excellent. So, settings have been added. Alright, so now, if score subtraction is turned off, how is this going to work? I guess it's going to be very similar to this one. Let me think. So this one... Okay, so if I do this, what's going to happen? If score subtraction is turned off, let's say I do a last hit on myself as player 1. It's going to impact the thing, and... Okay, so let's start from here, right? If variable score ID is not equal to this... Okay, this part actually should be outside of the else, come to think of it, because... Like, I don't want the global score thing to be tied to if the score subtraction is turned on or off or not. So there you go. Else, XU code, which is just telling me, you know, this. If its score subtraction is turned on, it does this little bit. Then this part is determining if it's determining if there's a winner. I also got to figure out how to get the stupid thing on top of the menu items instead of below it, but that's something else I'm going to have to deal with. So, if... Like, that's just a weird issue where I don't know why, like, moving it up or down in a layer would actually cause it to not be disabled with that layer. Or changing the depth, I should say. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to do this exactly. If score ID is not equal to score ID. Okay, right. So, if variable... So, if the score ID of I is not equal... Okay, so... Score ID I is... The score ID... Okay, so this is calculating the last... I is the last hit. If the score ID of the player is equal to the score ID... Wait. Okay, so let me think. If I get... Okay, so... Okay. If... Okay, so I think what I can do here is... If the score ID is equal... Okay, so if score ID is equal to the other score ID, so score ID of player 1 is equal to score ID, which means that player 1 scored on themselves. Instead of doing this, we're going to set I is equal to last hit 2. Because what this is doing currently is this is just setting I equal to last hit 1. So, I want to set I to last hit 2 instead. Then, we do assign variable score P I gets +1 relative. And yes, I think that'll do it. Okay, so let me just double check. Okay, so first off, if scored is equal to true, that means somebody has scored, score gets set to 0. While I is not equal to last hit 1, basically, this is just setting I equal to last hit 1. Which... Do I actually need to even do this? Come to think of it, couldn't I just set I equal to last hit 1 and be done with it? I think I just wanted to put a while loop in there. Yeah, I could just do that. So if I just do I equal last hit 1, that just... That's boring, though. But also better. I is equal to last hit 1. So I'm gonna disable this just to be on the safe side. Okay, so I is now equal to last hit 1. If Okay, so if global score subtract is equal to false, then I become set to last hit 2. And you just set score PI, which would be, let's say player 2 was last hit 2. So player 2 will get a +1 to their score. Nothing happens to player 1. Else, if score subtraction is turned on, if score ID 1 is not equal, if player 1's score thing is not the one that's reporting the score, add +1 to the score of the player that hit it last. If it is the same, then, and as long as the target is greater than the global minimum score, subtract 1 from that. And then we do here to check if they won. Okay, so let's see if I can get it to work. Settings, score subtraction off, let's start. Okay, so player 1 is the last one to hit this. Player 1. Okay, I just noticed an issue here. Why does it not trigger the score up? Okay, that's weird. Oh, that's why. Okay, so the score is not ticking up for whatever reason anymore. This might actually need to be done that way. But why would it? Let me see if this fixes it. If it fixes it, then we're good. If it doesn't, then I don't know. So player 2 should get the score. It does not. Okay, let's go back here. Let's just re-enable this, and I'm just going to disable that one. That should cut it off. Okay, so let's turn off score subtraction. Or turn it back on, I should say. Just make sure it's working, and player 2 is not getting a point anymore, nor is player 1. Wait, why did player 2 just get that last score? Something's wrong here. Something is wrong here. Something is very wrong here. Something has gone horribly wrong. Okay, so why is everything off? Okay, that I did need to do that, as it turns out. Okay, that works. So now turn on, whoops, turn on score subtraction. What happens? Player 1 hits. Player 1 gets a score, but the score does not increase. So I guess it's whatever is going on with this and why this one isn't working. So, if I had to guess... this might be needed. Just instead of running it like this... get rid of this one, and instead of saying to last hit 1, set to last hit 2. So I gets zipped around, and then that should do it. I'm not 100% sure why it's not letting me do that properly. It might be because the variable's getting carried over somehow, in some weird way. So player 2 should get a score. Player 2's not getting a score. Who's gonna get the score? Player 1 got the score. But why isn't the score ticking over? I wonder if it's only gonna trigger. Yeah, that's okay. So it's only triggering if that's a self-score, so that means something is wrong here. Oh, duh, of course. Right, shit. Right, duh. There we go. Else... Of course. Stupid. There. So now, it'll only trigger in the edge case that that actually happens. Instead of... So player 2 should get a score. Player 1 should get a score. Player 1. Player 2. Yep, player 2 got the score. Player 2 got the score. It works. Player 1 got a score. Nobody got the score on that one. So player 2 should get the score on this one and then win. Okay. Maybe not. Okay, player 2 get the score on this. And... Yes! Alright, we fixed it! It's working! Look at that, score subtraction. I'm gonna change that so it says score sub or something. No, it's fine. It's temporary anyway. Now the only question is, why wasn't that working when why is that only working while I did the while loop? So why wouldn't it just work if I just did I is equal to last hit 1? So why wasn't it doing that? Because that should theoretically just be the same thing. It should work. Okay, maybe I did it backwards by accident. I kind of just want to do the eye thing because that's look cool. If it's not working... There, okay. 2 should be the last score. It's not working. Why isn't it working? Maybe because it's being set? Yeah, my only thought is maybe it's happening like that because it's like... It's setting the variable and then maintaining it across the step. That's my only guess as to why that's happening. Good. So player 2. Player 2 got the score on that one. So player 1 should get the score on this one, assuming I can get it in correctly. Let's try that again. Ah. Player 1 got the score. Good. Okay, that fixes that. I don't know why the while loop is required here. I guess that has to be it, right? Just I got no idea why the while loop is doing that. It makes no sense to me. It should, by all rights, it should just be like... I should just be able to do that. Okay, you know... Okay, so I think I have two guesses why that's happening. My first guess is... the one I said before, where it's maintaining the stuff throughout. My second guess is whatever's going on here, it's not pulling the variable from the scorer objects properly. Which is why you need to have the while loop to, like, basically reset it every single time. But that doesn't make any sense, because that should still be... Because, like, last hit 1 is still being pulled in here, which is why the while loop is able to actually do something. So I don't know. It's bizarre. I don't know, man. This is weird. Alright. That's good, though. I got some work done. I even added a new feature, which is fancy. Alright, let's test to make sure it works real quick here. Let's, where's this thing located again? I want to say it's in app data? Yeah, let me just to INI file location. Local app data. Okay, so I want to go to Windows, users, app data. Is it local? Yeah, it's local. And then I want to go to BlockBall. There it is. I'm just going to copy the file location here, so... Okay, can't copy it. So, settings to INI. So its location is slash app data slash app data slash local slash BlockBall. And that's where that file is located. Whoops, I didn't want to open Microsoft Edge. I never want to. Why do I even have this on my hotbar still? Get off there. Okay, so let's just real quickly delete the settings.ini file, and we're going to start the game up again to make sure it works properly without that thing in there. So settings, these are the defaults. Min score -5. Score subtraction is on by default. Sound effects are on by default. Max score is 10. Let's change this to 5. Change this to 0. Score subtraction off, so this doesn't really make much difference. And sound effects off. Sound effects are off. Turn sound effects on. Zoom. Good. All right. Last score will be player 1. Last score is player 2. Player 2 is going to score. Nope. Player 1 is going to see. Player 1's got 1 score. Let's see if I can get a self score. Nope. Player 2. Player 2 is going in. Let's see if I can get a self. No. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Player 1. Player 2. This should get a player 2 score. No. No. Okay. Player 1 should get a scoring, but to player 2 points. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Let's get over to a score of 5 on player 2 real quick. Just make sure. Also, do this. Player 2. Go this way. Player 3. Player 4. And 4 points. And there we go. Player 2 has 1. Perfect. I'm going to check something here as well. If I do a self-score right at the beginning. No points. No points for anybody. Perfect. All right. Don't want to exit that way. Settings. Sound effects are on. That worked. Main menu. Credits. Yeah. Start game. That works. Exit. Exit game. We are good. Good. Huh. We finally caught up to myself. I finally caught up. The codes have been cleaned up a little bit. A lot, actually. A significant amount. Excellent. All right, next up, what do we have? Yeah, self-scoring has been removed. These have been changed up. And this little thought here is now effectively worthless because that's done. Okay, settings. Control options is going to be a thing I have to do. Window resolution. Default settings button. This is a odd one. I actually don't know how to do this one because that'd be messing with the file system. Create temp values for settings so that changes aren't saved if escape is pressed. Actually, default settings probably isn't hard. I could probably do it right now if I really want to, but I kind of don't want to. What I would do is I would just have all the settings in an array, like a global variable array, just set it all, and then have a write to ini file button that just sets them all back. At least for ones that aren't resolution. Create temp values for settings so that changes aren't saved if escape is pressed. Actually, that's already done. This is already set. I don't need to do that one anymore. That one's fixed. We're good there. These have been dealt with. I've already been using arrays. Object inheritance. Yeah, this is the long-term thing that I will get to at some point when I feel more comfortable. Right now, though... I think a good thing to work on next time... The winner thing is, find out why surfaces aren't working right first. There we go. So that's something else I gotta deal with. I gotta figure out why surfaces just straight up aren't working. But I think next step is control. Next step is going to be control settings. Because that's something I need to fix up. So next time we're going to be dealing with figuring out how to first rebind controls, if there's a good way to do that, and probably try and figure out how to do controllers in general. Because that's something I just straight up do not know how to deal with in this game. Granted, I didn't know how to deal with a lot of the stuff in the game to begin with, but controller support is something I need to work on. So, that'll be next time. I'm not sure if it's worth packaging up just for this bit, because the only thing I really changed now is I've added the score subtraction. Everything else has effectively remained constant from the last time I uploaded a new build. So, you know what? Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. So next time will be controller stuff. You know what? Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll upload this new build. Why not? Right? There's no reason not to. So that'll be up on itch.io soon enough. You can go check it out there. Otherwise, next week controller stuff, and that'll be the next big challenge to work with. So as always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the game with me. Or rather, the game creation process with me. This playlist that you've been listening to, again, has been the StreamBeats ambient playlist, which is quite a nice one, honestly. It's very chill. It's kind of like the chiptune one, but a little more mellow. I'm enjoying this one. This is a nice one to work to. Tomorrow is going to be Pathfinder, and we're going to start on Aeon, which will be another, like, 2 months. I gotta be real. This is a lengthy process. Pathfinder is becoming a very lengthy process, and I'm gonna take when I'm done going through the paths, I am gonna take a nice long break from that game, I think, before I try doing something like a unfair run or something. Because there's only so much of the same game you can play in the course of a month. Although on the bright side, it has taken long enough that I might have forgotten some of the early things. Anyway, that's completely separate. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's Pathfinder. Next week, controllers. Oh yeah, thanks, Dawn Patrols. Yeah, I'm enjoying these. Like, it's a nice... What's the best way to put it? It's a nice, relaxing sort of look behind the curtain of game design, which I'm sort of figuring out as I stumble my way through it, and it's, like, relatively chill. I just spend a lot of time sitting here with my head in my hands, like, trying to figure out what I did wrong, and then finding it, and then I fix it, and it's like a nice... Making a game is almost as rewarding as playing a game. And I say almost as rewarding instead of more rewarding, because I'm not making any money off of this thing. And at least when I play a game, I don't have to spend 2 hours banging my head against a text doc, or text pop-up, which is telling me that I broke something and I don't know where it is. But I still am making nice progress, and it's nice to see, like, the game function. Anyway, yeah. So, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the game process with me. Tomorrow, Pathfinder again. I can just keep reminding myself. Next week, controller stuff. I'll be putting this up on itch.io in, like, 10 minutes or something. I just gotta write up the little blog post about it. And, yeah, see you next time.